Welcome back to International Dining Around Louisville. Today is the letter Q for Qatar, and unfortunately we have no Qatari restaurants here in Louisville. After going to all of the Arabic markets and stuff, I decided that I was just going to look up one of the national dishes of Qatar, and it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Mahboos. Mahboos. They use the recipe that I've saw people use chicken, and I've seen lamb, but I am using beef instead. And actually, I went to our value market, and it is halal meat that I am using too. So right now I'm just doing some of the prep work, getting the spices together, cutting the onions and tomatoes. I'm starting to cry a little bit, so I gotta hurry. And I'm gonna try to follow the recipe as best as I can. One thing to note, I do not like onions. I typically use onion powder or the onion flakes. The onion flakes is the most onion I can do. So I am using real chopped up onions because, again, I'm starting to cry. So the onions, tomato, the spices and everything, I'm going to actually blend it and make like a sauce. So it's going to mix with the rice and the meat versus leaving it chunky. So just to let you know. Cinnamon, salt, pepper, turmeric, cumin, coriander, ginger, black lemon's over there, saffron's over there, more cinnamon and sugar. Okay, we're good. So along with the onions and tomatoes, I also chopped up half of a jalapeno because I don't want it too spicy, and 1/4 bunch of celery. I didn't bother chopping this up, not celery, cilantro. I didn't bother chopping the cilantro up because, like I said, I'm just going to blend it anyway. Otherwise, the recipe did say chop it up finely, and I am so excited about these. I'm going to open these right now. I've never seen this in my life. I am so excited. I need to pierce it. And I need to pierce these. Interesting. I can't tell if it's lemons or limes. It says dried lomi. I read on Google, some people call them limes, some people call them lemons, but I read on Google it's limes that, oh, and it's got a residue. Limes that are boiled and then dried. And somehow they pierce these. I'm going to see if I can cut through it, but it feels awful hard. Look what David surprised me with. I'm so excited. So you can either pour or you can spritz. Unfortunately, today we got to pour. I really want to spritz it though. Let's see if I can spritz it. Hold on. Spritz. It works. One thing I was always taught is when you're cooking meat, don't put it in raw, sear it. So that's what I'm doing, and now I'm adding a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. The recipe, he just threw it in raw, but again, that's not me. Once you take the meat out, you're going to have all that fond at the bottom. So this is the perfect time to go ahead and throw in your onions. I did have to add a little bit of water just to get it all up, but you're going to soak up all those yummy juices into the onions and let those cook before adding in your tomatoes, your spices, and all the cilantro and everything. I've added everything of that in, and the 2 lemon lime balls that are in question here. I could not pierce them, but they gave so much flavor anyway. On to blending. It was all cooked, all smelling absolutely stunning. And you just want to try and get this as smooth as possible. It was still hot, so I did not run it through like a strainer or a cheesecloth of any kind. But it was amazing at the end. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And I really hope you guys try this. This was one of the best meals like I've ever made at home that was like of a different culture. It was so divine. Once you add the mixture back in, you're going to want to go ahead and throw the black lemon lime balls back in. Do not blend those. They will destroy your blender. But I'm serious. Even without trying to cut them, they give off such a flavor. Like you could taste it. Here I just threw the meat back in. And we're going to add a little bit of water and then a little bit of beef broth just to kind of give it a little extra pizzazz. Now I forgot to record this part, but I did put a couple of bay leaves in and I let that simmer for just a few minutes with the lid on, kept it covered. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes, depending on, my cook plate is very, very hot, so it doesn't take long. And then I added 1.5 cups of rice to this, covered it again, and let it cook for about 25 minutes or so. There are the bay leaves, and I went ahead and added the rice, and we're just gonna let that cook, meat, everything all together. Cook it for like an hour, hour and a half, but my stovetop hot plate thing cooks super fast. So basically what you want to do, and also I seared my meat before, so it was mostly cooked, but once it starts boiling and your meat is cooked, you want to add your rice, and then you're just going to let it sit and taste the broth and see. It calls to add more spices, but I have to kind of go about it like how I do, because for one, it called for bazaar spice. I don't know what that is. I couldn't find it. It's Qatari bazaar spice. All I know is I found the ingredients online: cumin, coriander, ginger, the black lemon, cinnamon, turmeric, black pepper, and the saffron. So I just kind of measured with my heart and sprinkled, you know. So you're gonna taste as you go if you make this. And I just put in my rice. The black lemon lime things are still in there, and then I added 2 bay leaves. So now I'm gonna let it cook. I added a pinch more of water so that the rice can do its thing. The guy, however, on the video wrapped the pot in foil to cover, and then, well, okay, I have a Dutch oven. I'm just gonna put the lid on. I'm not gonna waste the foil. So we're just gonna let that cook until the rice gets done, and then we'll taste it again to see if it needs more spices. I don't think it's going to. I think our spice is enough. This is something I really wish I could try in person to know what it tastes like, but it smells amazing and I think it's gonna taste delicious. But I would suggest searing and cooking your meat first. That way your cooking time of like boiling the meat doesn't take as long. So, just my opinion.
And that way it'll be a different and unique watch experience every single time, because everyone has unique.
And this is why I have to do recipes my own way. Not only am I picky, but my hot plate does its own thing. It cooks faster. The bottom is completely burnt. You can smell the burnt, but it looks amazing, and I just tasted it and it's pretty good actually. It's really good actually. This is so delicious. I'm gonna gobble it up right now.